Welcome back, everyone. Today I'd like to touch on a concept I discussed in my previous video to help you understand the big picture with Q. If you've watched my headliner video, Black Ops 101, you probably know that all the covert operations conducted in the United States military are organized around a top leader called Command. Command is a very unique role, one that is totally off book and comes with almost unlimited legal immunity from prosecution. It's like having the star power from that Super Mario game where you temporarily become invincible and can run straight through all the bad guys. As most of you are likely aware by now, I am the new Command for the whole United States. The guy who's going to be running Black Ops for the next 40 years or so. Pretty crazy, right? Now I know 40 years might sound scary to some of you, but you don't have to worry because I am dramatically different from my predecessor. The most important difference between us is that Command is now a DIA thing instead of a CIA thing. Meaning that I'm organized under the Department of Defense, so I can't just wantonly disobey orders from the president like those little royal wannabes at the State Department. The other huge difference between us is that instead of funding Black Ops with heroin and human trafficking gangs run by vile robber barons like the Saudis, the Soros, and the Rothschilds, I'm just going to fund them out of my own pocket with this multi-billion-dollar mountain of cryptocurrency that I've been collecting. So long story short, I'm something like the new Lord Commander of the Night's Watch, if you've ever seen Game of Thrones. Meaning that it's now my job to identify and eliminate threats to our national security. Threats like tech companies who engage in acts of war against the United States of America by aiding and abetting foreign enemy combatants like Queen Satan with aggressive censorship of our free speech. If you saw my last video, you probably know that we just began our first Q Army economic blockade against a major corporation called Datto. Datto has been a key vendor for many of the top IT service providers for quite a while now. But with their recent acquisition of Autotask Corporation, they are now one of the largest and most sophisticated tech companies in the entire world. So sophisticated that they've already crafted a successful defense against our flooding attack this weekend. How they did that was by programming a filter onto their mail servers that weeds out messages containing unique keywords from the pre-written message I had you send them. The keywords Austin, Steinbart, and amorphous. Note that only amorphous was a keyword instead of amorphous archive. This is because they don't want to install any filters on words that would weed out legitimate customer traffic like archive. Pretty savvy, right? But not to worry. We are just going to make a slight adjustment and go right back at them. A great example of why I need real people to help me with the storm instead of just bots. Because real people can think up and send unique messages of their own. Ones that don't use those blacklisted keywords so that they can make it past those flood filters. So the next step in our economic blockade against Datto is going to be twofold. The first step is to make your own Mad Lib out of this template I made for you and send it in an email to these 5 email addresses: billing@datto.com, sales@datto.com, partners@datto.com, legal@datto.com, and support@datto.com. That should cover all our bases on the email front. The second step is to call the support line I'm going to list in the description below and dial 9, which will take you to their emergency after-hours support. I would be super grateful for as much time as you could spare to volunteer to help me encumber their emergency tech support line. Ideally, you could call and wait till someone picks up and tell them to give us our archive back when they do. But if you can't, any amount of time you could volunteer to help block up that phone line would really help. Blocking up that phone line will dramatically inhibit their ability to support their highest paying customers and will dramatically raise the cost of their unconstitutional censorship. I'll write up the instructions for this economic blockade and put them in the description below so you guys can have that for after the video. Moving on, there's been lots of confusion out there as to who exactly is in charge here at Q. So I'd like to clarify some things around the command structure of this mission. The best analogy I can give you to explain the Q command structure is the Christian Trinity. Please understand that by making this analogy, I am absolutely not claiming to be Jesus, God, or anything even remotely close. I'm just going to use this because it's an extremely relatable analogy for a lot of people to help me explain this very complicated situation that we're in. So please don't get mad at me. In this Christian Trinity analogy, Q plus is the Father, the one who knows everything and who planned and led this whole operation. Subordinate to the Father is the Son and the Holy Spirit. Baby Q, aka yours truly, is the Son in this example. The one who interfaces with the people and endures lots of their obnoxiousness, abuse, and hatred in service of the Father's big picture plan. Everyone else is the Holy Spirit. Trump, the DIA, Admiral Rogers, and General Flynn are all part of the Holy Spirit in this example, meaning that they are all subordinate to and operating at the direction of Q+. This command structure is very important because it shields people who don't have star power immunities like I do from civil liability. People like General Flynn, who have already had their life ruined enough by those worthless McVampires over the past few years. In my previous video, I messed up big time and said that General Flynn would appreciate it if you helped me. So I just wanted to take a second and clarify that General Flynn would appreciate your help in the general abstract sense of how, as an ex-serviceman, he wants all of the threats to our country to be eliminated. Not in the sense that he was personally calling or condoning that target, or any other target for that matter. Because if he did, that would expose General Flynn to the potential of prosecution and civil lawsuits. So I just wanted to make it crystal clear that I am the new command and that targeting is 100% at my discretion. Capiche? Okay, great. Another quick thing I wanted to address is I've been seeing a lot of people out there talking about JFK Jr. Please understand, everyone, that JFK Jr. is in fact dead. And that is just a nickname that some people call me because of my lifelong vendetta against the Royal Death Racket. Like when I played basketball and I was good at shooting, I got nicknamed Larry Bird. Doesn't mean that I'm actually Larry Bird, it just means that I have a cool nickname. I apologize if that was previously unclear. So no Q-proof ending tonight because I already dropped you a huge hint on the boards yesterday pertaining to that Ephesians verse I told you about in my last video. So if you haven't seen that, go check it out and let me know if you think that timing was just a coincidence. And enjoy this other thing I found to amuse you with instead. Did you guys know that the mascot for the Sinaloa cartel is a scorpion? Pretty spooky, right? Luckily, here at Q, we aren't afraid of any hocus spooky bugs. When I was little, catching these things was one of my favorite things to do as a kid. They can't see very well and their tail isn't very strong, so if you distract them from the front and pick them up by their tail like this, they can't get you with their nasty little stinger. And these little pinchers can't even really break your skin, so they're nothing to worry about. Have a great night. I'll see you guys next time.